Hello everyone and welcome back to another Plane to 777 video, and today we are looking at the Qatar Airways 787 business class from Doha to Venice. As you may have seen in my previous video, we took an overnight trip into Doha and now we are taking a taxi back into Doha airport, which is a more unique experience considering that most travelers transit through Doha. But here we are at the entrance into the Doha Hamad International Airport. And here is the large and very pretty check-in area, as you can see. Now, of course, as a premium traveler, we'll be heading over to the business class check-in, although we don't necessarily need the check-in per se, since we already booked our ticket all the way to Venice in one go. But I just thought it would be nice to show it off for a little. As you can see, there is a more premium waiting area to the side and some bell pops, I suppose, to help you check in your bags as well. If I was checking in here, I would be very satisfied with the premium experience. And now, of course, here we are in the actual airport itself, featuring some large screens and the giant teddy bear with the lamp, as is iconic of Hamad International Airport. Now today our gate is in the C area of the airport, and so we'll be, instead of the regular lounge, we'll be using the Al Morjan Lounge Garden, which is essentially an extension of the business class lounge, albeit with an iconic garden section and a Louis Vuitton section. We took the elevator up to the second floor, as you can see, and here we are at the grand entrance of the business class lounge at the garden. As you exit, of course, to the left is the reception area featuring a very nice Qatar Airways logo. And to the right, you see a unique site, which is the Louis Vuitton lounge. Now, of course, we don't have access to it, but it's basically just its own space with a la carte dining, although you do have to pay extra for it. Nonetheless, here we are at the garden lounge, featuring, of course, a beautiful view of the garden and some very nice glass architecture. And inside the lounge, you can, of course, see the usual Qatar Airways design, featuring a very nice dining area and of course the buffet here. It is still largely a breakfast mode, so I wonder how much the selection will change during lunch and dinner. Here is a more full view of the Doha airport from the lounge. I really like this sort of design of the lounges, where instead of an enclosed space you get a really open view. And now, of course, let's get right into the food, where from the buffet we have the sausages and mushrooms and omelette, which was amazing. And surprisingly, from a digital menu, you can order a la carte items, which I got the salmon and unagi sushi, which of course were amazing as expected of Qatar Airways expectations. I also had a salmon bagel and as well as the premium dates, which were also very good. Soon enough though, it was time for us to board our flight to Venice. And although we do have a gate here, we will actually be taking the bus since our plane isn't actually at the gate. Now, I was a bit disappointed since, well, I would very much prefer the ease and convenience of using a gate, but as you can see, the gate is closed and we will take a bus. Thankfully though, we do have a dedicated business class bus, as you can see here, featuring less people and more premium seating. One thing that's good about the bus though is that you can see all the planes from the ground view, which is a very unique and amazing view. Here's a nice view of a 777-300ER that we're passing by. Soon enough though, we will arrive at our plane, which is our Qatar Airways 787-8 that will be taking us to Venice. While basking in the glory of this jet, Doha is really hot and I was really basking in the heat, so let's quickly get inside the jet. And here it is, the relatively small and comfortable business class product on the 787-8, featuring a 1-2-1 configuration reverse herringbone. And the seat looks quite comfortable, albeit a little smaller than the Q Suite, but it has all the basic business class amenities that you would expect out of a world-class airline. In front of you is the large screen, touchscreen of course, and here's how you use it. And there is our information for our 5.5-hour flight to Venice. The tray table, you can unfold it like this, and it's quite nice and sturdy, and sizable too. We also had a pre-departure drink of orange juice, and a nice amenity kit by Diptyque. Here's the footrest featuring an extra pillow. And here's a closer look at the business class amenity kit for men, which has mostly the basic amenities. Here are the seat controls beneath the tissue. And here's the large plush blanket covered in plastic. Beneath that, you can see an extra rest with additional storage, which is perfect for anything from your passport to wallet to your phone. Further to the side of your seat, you can see the remote control and a charging port, as well as a sort of mini table where you can put your stuff. And they have kindly included a water bottle, the menus, and the safety cards. Here's the additional view from our seat of the back of the cabin, and the cabin does feel much more open compared to the regular Q-Suite doors. Nonetheless, it is now time for us to taxi after a relatively sizable delay. But it's okay because we do have some nice air conditioning in the plane to protect us from the Doha heat. Now that we're at the window seat, do enjoy the following takeoff footage. And we are in the air. Do have a quick look at this menu and feel free to pause whenever to have a closer look. Again, since this is a shorter flight, we only get one meal time that you can take whenever you want during the flight. To start off the meal service, I got myself a very delicious hot chocolate as well as the customary nuts on the side. Now at this point in the trip, I actually felt less hungry than I normally would, so I decided to take a nap instead, and it was okay with the flight attendants that I could delay my meal service for later, which I thought was a bonus since most meal services go all at once. After a relatively nice nap, albeit not as nice as the Q-Suite, but still a solid nap, I decided to stretch my legs for a little bit. And here's the view of the small cabin, as you can see again. There's sort of a mini lounge-ish area in the middle where you can stand around. It doesn't really do much, though there is some fruit available, but it's simply a nice spot to stand in. After my long nap, I resumed the rest of my meal service, which again, I didn't think was possible in most other flights. Here's the amuse-bouche, a sort of crab dish. And here's my starter, which is the tiger prawn and scallop. It was a little cold, but very flavorful, and another favorite dish of mine from Qatar Airways. Next is the beef steak. And while beef does have a tendency to not be the best while it's in the air, I will say that Qatar Airways did a great job with their catering, as the beef was nice and tender overall. And lastly, the dessert, which was lava cake, albeit without too much lava. And I will say that this was also a favorite dessert of mine overall, and that Qatar did a great job in emulating that lava feel in the air. Overall, after a great meal service, we are now arriving into Venice. While the seat itself is a bit of a downgrade from the Q-Suite, I was still able to enjoy the overall reverse herringbone seat. it was a bit more exposed, but I still had a great soft product experience. As you may know, at the time of this recording, Qatar Airways has a relatively inconsistent hard product experience, as you may get the Q suite, a reverse herringbone, or even the dreaded 222 business class seat on some of their airplanes, which are really old. Nonetheless, let's enjoy this view of the city of Venice as we approach our destination soon. And what a view it is. While you enjoy the scenery, please do enjoy the following landing footage. And here we are, finally in Venice, Italy. As you get a view of a little bit of the military aircraft and a bit of a last look at the cabin, I would say that I quite enjoyed this Qatar Airways flight on the 787. While it isn't necessarily as nice as the flagship Q Suite product, it is nice for a sort of medium haul flights, such as ones from Doha to Venice. While I did have some drawbacks, such as a relatively sizable delay that also included having the door open in Doha, so a lot of the heat came in. Nonetheless, I will say that this is a very positive flight overall, which is why I'm going to give this flight a score of an 8.5 out of 10. The highlights were certainly the soft product service, including the flight attendants as well as the food, and I would say especially the lounge in Qatar. So if you ever find yourself on a stopover at Doha, certainly get the chance to check out both the regular Al Marjan lounge and the Al Marjan the Garden lounge. I mean, if you really want to sum Qatar Airways business class product in a few words, it's really almost first class service and product for very good business class prices and top of the line business class product. Now here we are finally in Venice with the baggage claim, and Qatar has nice enough to set up a sign to make sure that we get our actual bags without, messing it up. And here we are exiting the Venice immigration. And there are actually a great number of ways to get from the airport to the actual island city of Venice itself. So in this particular case, I decided to get myself a pretty affordable ticket on one of their buses on the way there. Here is sort of the departure area for Venice Airport. Decided to sneak a look in here just because I can. And now it's finally time for us to head out. Thank you all so much for watching. This is Plane Dude 777. Please remember to like and subscribe for more videos like this. And I'll see you guys on the next video.